Hi there, and welcome to Out with a Birder, a virtual birdwatching field trip series by Yolo Audubon Society, where we guide you to our favorite places to bird in Yolo County and beyond. Today we are going to the Yolo Bypass Wildlife Area, where we'll show you some of our favorite places to stop, talk about what types of birds you might see, and share a little about what makes this such an interesting location to birdwatch. Thanks for joining us, and let's go birding! You can get further information about the Yolo Bypass Wildlife Area, including directions, from the Yolo Basin Foundation at yolobasin.org. Click on Yolo Bypass Wildlife Area to obtain a handy map for your visit. Today we are starting our auto tour of the wildlife area at Parking Lot A. We are here in late September, which is the dry season in the bypass. In this parking lot, you can check the kiosk for posted information related to the wildlife area. The fields around Parking Lot A are seasonally flooded and can be teeming with ducks, shorebirds, and wading birds. While we were visiting, these fields were dry, making it good foraging habitat for raptors such as northern harrier and white-tailed kites. Next, we're stopping along the auto tour route on our way to Parking Lot B.
We're now stopped here partway between Parking Lot A, which is at the entrance of Parking Lot B. The area we're looking at right now always has water, so it's a permanent wetland.
Stopping here and looking off to the right, there are red-winged blackbirds. We also see a couple of ravens, red-shouldered hawk, and sometimes there are bitterns sitting by the side of the road in the vegetation. And turning around to look in the other direction. And if there's water out there, there's oftentimes a lot of waterfowl. You can see egret playing. I guess the point is that don't just drive through this to get to the next parking area. Be sure to look both ways, left and right. There is an accessible spot where you can get all the way out to a viewing platform, looking out over a pond.
Now on to Parking Lot B. Parking Lot B is bordered by permanent wetlands, often with dense cattail and tule. This is a good place for ducks and blackbirds. South of the parking lot are seasonally flooded fields. Depending on water levels, this area is great for ducks, shorebirds, and wading birds, though there are better views of these fields along the auto tour route. If you prefer to leave the car for a while, there's a hiking trail leaving from Parking Lot B, which allows you to walk along this habitat for about a mile all the way to Parking Lot C. So we're on our way to Parking Lot C. We just stopped here along this canal that separates sort of some of this marshland over here from the agriculture fields over here. The rice is coming in nicely. This is a really nice spot to look for grebes. There were a couple of pie-billed grebes back there. Certainly herons and egrets are really common along this path. The snowy egret right there. And yeah, this is, one of the things about coming out here is to be sure to take your time in between the parking lots and stop along the way. You can park along the side of the road and get out and explore the different habitats that are out here. So another really cool thing about the bypass is seasonality. So these fields across the way here, which are used for agriculture during certain parts of the year, they're dry right now. But in the winter, they'll fill up with water. So we're heading down to parking lot C, and I thought I'd just stop to mention a couple of interesting spots along the way. So on the right hand side, there's this row of willow trees that are often worth looking for raptors in. A lot of red-tailed hawks hanging out. And there's always good sparrows along this road. On the left side, you've got more agriculture fields, and oftentimes during the right time of the year when the flooding is just right, this can be the best shorebird viewing in the entire basin. So it's always worth taking your time and looking to see what's out here. And there are trails that you can follow to go out and access these fields, and we'll show you some of those coming up. So here's parking lot C, and across the street from it is one of these levee roads. Really, you're not supposed to drive down them, but you can walk down them, and it lets you access these agriculture fields that during certain times of the year are flooded and become really, really great habitat for shorebirds. So here's parking lot C. This is a common stop along the auto tour. There's a picnic table here. It's a good spot for lunch. There's usually a porta potty here, but during COVID-19, I think they've removed them. It is bone dry here in September, but a little bit later on, this will all be flooding and become prime habitat. This is a really, really great spot for all sorts of ducks, mostly dabbling. Lots of shorebirds can be seen from this spot, and then also a lot of wading birds.
So we're at where usually there is, not usually, but during hunting season, there is a check-in station. And anything beyond this point, you can see parking lots E, F, G, and H are not accessible to other than people who are out hunting.
So this is a little more typical of the area, especially later in the season, with a flooded field here, and it is chock full of birds. We just had a group of about 10 black-necked stilts fly over. There's harriers, northern harriers hunting. Way in the back, you would need a scope, but way in the back there are lots of ducks on the water. So here's a common sight this time of year in the bypass with a freshly harvested field. And I don't know if you can see it, but there are, probably up to 50, maybe more, egrets and hundreds of white-faced ibis searching the freshly plowed field. To complete the trip, follow signage for the auto tour loop from parking lot D, which will return you to the entrance of the wildlife area. Be sure to give yourself plenty of time for this section, because depending on water levels, this section of the loop is great for shorebirds and ducks when water levels are right. The auto tour route can be done quickly in 30 to 45 minutes without ever leaving your car, but we suggest taking your time, stopping to get out along the way. You could easily spend a half day or even a whole day exploring the entire wildlife area. We only covered a small portion of it today, and we'll explore more locations in future episodes. Thanks for joining us, and let's go birding!